And we move into this living awakened space of ourselves where we're implementing from that wholeness. We're living as that space of ourselves that can allow ourselves, can trust ourselves, and then can allow others to do the way that they're going to do and be the way that they're going to be. And allow the spaces where maybe mom or Aunt June or, brother Andy, whatever it is, they might have a moment with us where it's uncomfortable because we're not who we were their whole life. All of a sudden, we're not carrying on in the same conversation the same way, or we're not showing up at the same events in the same way we did before. And they're not comfortable with that change. So that kind of gets brought forth in some way. And we have the option to quell the fear. We have the option to hold the peace and the balance and be that space of wholeness that we've learned we've remembered we are. And sometimes we set boundaries because that's the option that's most beneficial. But this is a totally different playing field. Living awakened is living on an entirely new experiential plane of existence. Hello, holy ones. Welcome to this space. Our beautiful AwakenPod space. And if you're seeing a clip of this video, you're seeing it over on the original Garris channel, and the full version's over on AwakenPod. But we want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to connect with this. I love this space. This is a space where we get to engage and implement these connections we're choosing to be, of the remembrance that's landing, that we are more. So we're living awakened. And so now and then I've been bringing on incredible individuals from our community, our beautiful Acasma family of light. And so we have an incredible guest here today. Everybody in the community knows this individual. It will not be new to any of them, but if you're new to finding us, may I please introduce to you now a lovely individual, a higher dimensional being of light in human form, one of my dearest friends on the planet we call Earth, Kirsten Hope.
Hello. Hello. That was such a beautiful intro. You just sort of took my breath away. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you. We don't get these spaces.
No.
We don't. No. Yeah. Yeah. You came into the community, into my life, into all of this that we are. And this was several years ago, and we had more time together then, but then you just are so available, which I can never thank you enough, to bring what we've got to offer to the world. And so you and I are both doing it full time, and we don't get a lot of time together, just the two of us. So we're going to invite everybody into our conversation today.
Beautiful.
We're going to hang out. We're talking about living awakened, but there's a lot of things that happen when you live awakened, and a lot of them are extremely good and beautiful and fun and fascinating. And then there are some spaces that give us the opportunity to confirm our choice to live awakened and why we're doing it. So we're going to talk about that today. I think one of the biggest things I get feedback on, and I'm sure you do too as well, from students and community members, is when we choose to live awakened and family members and friends aren't necessarily used to the awakened version of us, sometimes that can cause some uncomfortable situations. So
Hmm.
where are you coming in on this? Did you ever experience this when you've been
Always.
living awakened for a long time now, but like what is, do you understand what I'm talking about?
I live what you're talking about in the
Okay.
sense that, and I think you know this, but before coming into this space and the swirl of Acasma, I was already a professional energy healer and had been for about 20 years. And even back then, I was a unicorn. Nobody understood the mind body connection, let alone energy. They didn't know the words Reiki. Acupuncture at that point was very avant garde. If there's any acupuncturists here, they'll relate to that. And so the what's in our swirl and our vernacular now wasn't really at the forefront of the cultural conversation. And so people have just kind of looked at me cross-eyed. And so I have been through these spaces, through these various shift points of consciousness with humanity, and in my personal life, and in my relationships, and in my family, and in my marriage. And I played with engaging it in all these different ways. And I know that you'll relate to this, you being whoever's listening, and all of you here. Thank you for engaging and just opening to this. I tried hiding.
Mm.
I tried being secret and just not letting anybody know, kind of keeping it to myself. And there can be places of that that are really beautiful. It's not wrong. For me, it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
I tried forcing it down people's throats because I was so excited. I really did it with love. All I thought was love. And so I kind of played with like, how do I be this, live in this space of wonderment, of connection, of expansion, of understanding energy, seeing these connections when I live in a world of what I would say people who really connect through a material lens.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to find my footing with that. And actually, it really wasn't until Acasma that I really found the balance of being true to myself, being true in who I really was, and being able to hold compassion and empathy and true devotion to the life path that somebody else is choosing without making it wrong. I could tolerate it, I put up with it, but I was also kind of like, all right, how long is it going to be before they start believing what I believe so I can be more comfortable?
I laugh because I really get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
remember those moments so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
even love the connectivity with Acasma because I was leaning into this, like maybe a particular point of reference. And it's so big and so vast when we're talking about Acasma quantum energy and Acasma consciousness. But there are pinpoint spaces that I think really do assist with this. And I love that. For me, one of those spaces would be I I felt the ability to leave that alignment of frustration and hide or shove it down their throat. Like I left that when I started trusting me more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that's one of the biggest things that Cosma really assists with. There's a lot, but one of them is trust yourself. And when you really trust yourself, if somebody is not in the same lane as you, you don't care. Like because you are so in connectivity with your own essence, your own remembrance that you don't need anybody else to be.
Right.
Do you feel like that registers that way
Very
for
much so.
people?
And it's also this space, and I can only speak from my own experience, of course, but that piece of a cosma, I mean, there are so many facets of a cosma, but one of them, like you said, is trust yourself. But when you really trust yourself and you know that you are vast, that you are eternal, that you can and will be okay. You are safe.
You are safe.
I am safe.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody chooses to do with their experience of me,
I love it.
including me. right?
Yes.
And the other thing with Acasma that helped me quite a bit, and I totally agree with what you said, that you said a lot of these reactions that people will have when we shift and change, and we maybe change our ideology, or we uh, expand our understanding of how the world works and beyond the world, and we start speaking it, living it, breathing it, engaging it, it can feel disorienting.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I understand is that not everybody feels safe. They are, but they
That's
might not
right.
feel that and register that. And where I see the thread of commonality is between me and anybody else, no matter what, is that we're all just really learning how to trust ourselves, learning how to feel safe, and finding that safety in all different alignments. And who am I to judge what makes somebody else feel safe?
Exactly.
And what
Yeah.
makes the world make sense, and what feels exciting, and
Yeah.
what feels engaging. And just like I equate it to music and food, I don't know why I like chocolate, but I do. I don't know why I like the music that I do, but I do, right?
Yeah.
And but I can tell you there are certain genres of music I don't like. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't make those wrong. Somebody else that lights them up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so who am I to say my way is your way?
Mm-hmm.
And trusting myself in that space. And also the other place here, what I love about our connection in this space, the expansiveness of Acosma, is that it's one of the few places I've found that don't make don't make other alignments wrong. We are not
Mm-hmm.
holier than thou. We are
Mm-hmm.
not better than. We're not, well, I'm ascended and you're not. And oh, too bad for you. That is so not in the space that we are.
Mm-hmm.
And who are we to say, who am I to say that just because somebody is living an alignment that is different than mine, that that's not an ascended path?
Mm-hmm.
It still might be. How do I know? Right.
And
And
why
so,
should we want to think we got enough with our own path,
yes,
with our own
yes,
thing. Like,
right. Exactly. Exactly. And so it's given me a lot more latitude
mm,
and softness and respect, like true, deep respect. Not
yes,
gritting my teeth respect, like,
no,
okay, I'll respect you because, but just really like truly looking at all spaces of path, choice, engagement of life is valuable.
yes.
Every single one of them.
And that's one of the big teachings as well in a cosmic quantum energy. And we
Yes,
keep talking about this. So it is something that we do teach. Kirsten teaches it. I teach it. Many people on the planet now teach it and or facilitate it. But we're bringing in the understanding of allowing and wholeness. And a lot of times when students first come into the space, or even clients, and they don't understand those two words or what we mean by them. But what you're talking about is you're able to allow as you're living awakened all the journeys that are taking part, all of the spaces and the way they're unfolding, because you remembered your wholeness. You've reconnected to that space of yourself, and you're allowing, in a sense, as well, other people to find their wholeness through their journey without you or I trying to tell them how that has to be. And somebody say, "Oh yeah, but you telling us it has to be a Cosma." No, I'm telling you it can be a Cosma. I'm
exactly.
telling you it's an option. And that's the people that find this space and it resonates for them. This is who it's been built for. And the people
Hmm.
that find this and they're say, "Oh, I don't really get it." Well, this isn't the space that was made for you. You are designing the whole thing.
Exactly.
Whoever's hearing the words right now, you're the designer, you're the aligner. If this resonates, this is a space you may have designed for a purpose that is assisting you. And so it's that allowance factor, I think, that drops in for everyone that makes this type of connection. And that wholeness factor that comes in that gives room, gives space, opportunity, and availability for the release of that control factor or that frustration factor or that separation vibration factor that we were living from and as for so long, it releases that. We release it. And we move into this living awakened space of ourselves where we're implementing from that wholeness. We're living as that space of ourselves that can allow ourselves, can trust ourselves, and then can allow others to do the way that they're going to do and be the way that they're going to be. And allow the spaces where maybe mom or Aunt June or, brother Andy, whatever it is, they might have a moment with us where it's uncomfortable because we're not who we were their whole life. All of a sudden, we're not carrying on in the same conversation the same way, or we're not showing up at the same events in the same way we did before. And they're not comfortable with that change. So that kind of gets brought forth in some way. And we have the option to quell the fear. We have the option to hold the peace and the balance and be that space of wholeness that we've learned we are, we've remembered we are. And sometimes we set boundaries because that's the option that's most beneficial. But this is a totally different playing field. Living awakened is living on an entirely new experiential plane of existence.
Mm-hmm. So there's also this piece of engagement, right? And so when I bump up against spaces or connection points where let's say I'm talking to somebody and they know me as in a certain flow state, and now I show up and I'm in a different flow state, right? So like you said, I'm talking differently, I'm engaging differently, and they have a reaction pattern. I'm also bringing myself that experience because I think a lot of us come from, and what we're stepping out of, rewiring, reorienting, transmuting, engaging in this space where we're not looking through that lens of right and wrong, my way or your way. We are moving into the space of unity. And if you really want to engage the space of unity, you understand that every vibrational alignment has value. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Every vibrational space of alignment, meaning the way somebody is, the way they act, what they believe, how they engage, is playing its part in moving a species forward. Mm-hmm. No matter what our human brains wants to make it mean. And that's where we get to choose how, do you even put a meaning on it? How do we know? There's so much more available. There's so many more engagements. There's so many more alignments. We have no idea.
And the meaning placed on it engages is the first connection point to choose the way you're going to design it for yourself. The meaning you place on it. Yeah, that's a big one that doesn't always come into play. People miss it. We miss it because we get caught up in the emotions or the energies of the space itself, and we don't realize there's that opportunity. So yeah, that's huge.
Right.
And I love the point of all of the different points, though, like all of the different ways of processing and choosing to live and being angry or being at peace. Like all of them are valuable. And that's important that people hear that point because they represent the space of the unified field. The entire space of consciousness is moving, not just, what somebody deems the enlightened side of it. It's all connected. It may be a different increment of movement, registerable or whatever, but it's all source. So every single space of organic consciousness, funny you have to say that now, is involved in this process of the movement of the species. So it's all valuable. So even the person hearing us right now, like if by chance you feel like you've effed it up lately or in some way, and you're kind of feeling like things aren't the way they need to be for you, that point of reference right now is just as valuable as the person listening to this that thinks, wow, I've got it going really well right now. I really figured things out. Like, both those reference points are equally valuable because they're both part of one source of consciousness in incremental versions of itself.
It's really easy to see it in others, right? But there is also a space where we are expanding the space of living awakened. And the space of living awakened, in my experience, is it involves the full gamut of experiences: anger, rage, worry, fear, joy, peace, and, all of these spaces. And even as a spiritual community as a whole, not speaking just to Cosma, is that we're moving out of that alignment of I'm only love and light. And if I get angry, I must have misunderstood and I didn't get it. Or if, and it's really, can you meet yourself with grace? Can you meet yourself with ease? Can you allow and understand that all of those spaces of connection are really important? And your choice point comes in and how tightly you want to hold it.
Yeah.
What story or meaning you want to put on it or not. If you want to allow it to pass through your experience, or you want to grab it and hold on to it. But there is this space where a cosmic consciousness is the space of unconditional love, of unity embodied within the soul. And so how can we, just like we don't judge another, or the invitation is to allow all vibrational alignments of a lived experience to exist on this planet, can we allow that for ourselves too?
Yeah. No, that's huge. And whoever's hearing this right now and possibly says, yeah, but what if I'm in an alignment that is difficult, harsh in some way? Am I supposed to just allow the difficult and harshness to continue to flow at me or whatever? There's so much in that process right there, okay? There's the understanding of the design. So owning the design to begin with. So whatever's difficult and uncomfortable, we all played a role in whatever we're experiencing, which Kirsten already stated that earlier, but that's a really important part of the picture. And some people say, oh, I did not. I would never design having an experience with somebody like this. This is ridiculous. I would never do that. Well, there's a message here within the process of the experience, even if it means you learn how to say stop. That's not okay. And, setting a boundary. That could be why it's happening. There could be, all kinds of reasons why it's happening. But when we say allow, because people have a really, sometimes a harder time with digesting this part of the teachings. When we say allow, and we say everybody's path is important, you still have, in the Acasma teachings, you still have the responsibility to direct your flow. Yes, your life. Yes, your choices for what works for you. So it's not an allow. And I know sometimes I start to talk as if somebody asked me a question and they never really did, but it's okay. We'll just allow. I'm sorry, it just fits there. But, when these spaces happen, or could happen, where somebody says, well, those ladies said, I'm going to allow all of these things. I'm going to allow everybody their path. I'm just going to stay in peace and balance. Kirsten just got done saying it's living awakened is allowing ourselves to leave that alignment of it's always got to be peace and balance, unicorns and roses. It's becoming, and she can speak for herself, but I'll say this, for me and with the understandings and the teachings of Acasma, it's becoming presence. Yes. With my being and my interpretation point and registering what if I am maintaining that space of alignment of myself that is my divine essence, as I am in whatever space I am in, and my divine essence expands as I connect in with a cosmic quantum energy, the teachings, the energetic modality, it's designed to expand this space of me. We designed it, by the way. The teachings teach this. The space of our higher selves, our higher mind, our higher heart, designed it all, sent it to ourselves. That's the kind of field we're living in right now, folks. This is a brand new ball game. And so this assists us, assists me, that as I navigate living awakened and I have a space, maybe it's set a boundary. Maybe it's learned to say, no, that's not okay. Maybe it's to realize my point of view is skewed, that I'm in an egoic state of victimhood. I've had those spaces. Maybe it's something totally different. But Acasma Quantum Energy resets me to that divine essence if I will lean in and allow, if I will make space for that divine essence, if I will create an alignment of connectivity where the divine essence of myself has space to land. Then, so I register the experiential spaces. And when I'm choosing to allow, when Kirsten's choosing to allow someone else's journey their way, we're registering it through all these spaces. And our divine essence is present as we are choosing how we see living awakened to be for us. Yes. And it may be that we get angry. It may be that we are sad. We're not human anymore when we wake up. We have all the emotions. We have all of the spaces of connectivity that a human being has. But because of our choice, through Acasma Quantum Energy teachings, we've chosen and activated and reconnected our I am. So our human is not navigating all of its feelings and emotions and spaces of connectivity that it has the opportunity to have on its own. It's experiencing its anger and being given the opportunity to run it through its sacred self. And the sacred self is then offering the remembrance of that essence point to bring in the peace and balance. So the navigation of the space, of the anger, of the despair, of the fear, of the whatever it is, it's being filtered through source consciousness, which is what I believe, outside of even Acasma Quantum Energy teachings, period, done deal. I believe humanity is a grand design for the expansion of consciousness, and this is how it's doing it. Through the feelings and through the choices of the return of the I am within the form.
When you are connected to that space of the I am within the form, it allows you to come into this space where allowing is not equivalent to permission. Those are two very different experiences. But at least in like the English language, allow can often be used synonymously with permission. And that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
To allow is to allow something to pass through, to step aside and witness, to allow the awareness to flow, to allow the energy to flow. And then where permission comes in is the space of engagement. That's where your sovereignty is, how you choose to engage, what you choose to be permissible for your lived experience or not. And that's where we have our free will. People often talk about, well, do we have free will? And all of this stuff. Absolutely, you have free will, and you have experiences that are here to help you expand and to assist you. And one of the first spaces of teaching with Acasma that really just like, I used it like almost like a mantra at the very beginning, and I still do. It's always kind of running in the back of my mind. Anytime I run into what I call a glitchy spot or a wobbly spot, be that relational or anything else, right? Is okay, I can register in my human, my personality. Don't like it. I don't like this. I don't want it. I would never design this. I can have that human experience, and that's not a wrong thought. And where my space comes in is, okay, but how, even with this disorienting experience, there is this space or a connection where, but how can I let even that expand me? How can I become more of me and the original blueprint of me, not who I've been taught and conditioned to be, but how can I let this human experience be an experience of pure bliss or anything other than that? How can I let that lead me back into a deeper level of my own truth
Yeah.
and live that? I mean, that is what we are here to do. We need all these different variation points. We don't need a bunch of A.L. Garrises or Kirsten Hopes, or we just need you exactly as you are. And so when you bump up against those sticky spots of life, it's like, okay, that I brought myself this experience so I could be different with it. So I could expand differently. I could learn differently. I could get to know myself. I can learn how to express myself from a more authentic expansion point, right? And so that's where allowing comes in. Allowing isn't permitting people to, treat you poorly or whatever. It is about how are you going to engage you in this space? Be that a space of joy, peace, suffering, or anything else.
And another word that might help people too, that was really well said, and you made me think of it this way because we talk about this a lot, but I don't think I've said the sentence. Allowing can also be understood as observing.
Absolutely, neutrality.
Yeah. Giving a pause to the space before you set meaning. We talked about that today in a class, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you give pause for a moment. And that's what allow means. You give pause for a moment and you just allow. You just allow the space to play out. You allow the things to be said or the moment to happen. And in that pause, you have the opportunity, what you just articulated so beautifully, to assign the meaning, in a sense, to decide why, how you're going to work with this space, live with this space, connect with this space, engage or not. There's always the option to not engage as well, and let it move through. Another thing that's happening besides our own self-expansion and realization and stretch, we talk about that sometimes, how sometimes the experiences are designed just to give us the ability to stretch into a new space of ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
to look at ourselves differently and the world around us differently. But what's happening at that moment as well, that's really important and impactful, as I think this is what we're here, where our choice of response or reaction is an energetic connective flow with the field itself of the limitless potential of everything. So the way in which we assign the meaning, react, respond is a confirmation of either staying in a field, a cycle, a belief structure, a connection point we've been in because we maybe respond like we always have or whatever, or it could be that we are choosing to just observe and allow and let everything keep moving. Well, that's a different vibration than the last time we were there. So the field registers that and it says, oh, wait a minute. She's in a different energy. She's not holding the same cycle before as she did before. Okay, hold on a second. And the whole field, incrementally or whatever it is, it moves to meet us because it's all reflective. So that's another thing that's happening with this allow moment. And, that's a really big game changer for people to start feeling maybe a little more empowered, to trust themselves a little bit more, because sometimes we're learning how to release the grip and it's not always easy. And we get ourselves into spaces where that grip's been tight our whole life. And we've always had to kind of fight for it or speak our truth or be heard or whatever it is that we still think we need. And so loosening that grip, if you can remember that as you loosen the grip, you shift your field. And that shift of the field is it is most likely, it is absolutely 100%, but own the word that works for you. For me, it's 100% taking me where I most optimally flow and where I most likely want to go. It's always, always, always taking me there. And knowing that, allowing that, trusting that, opens that up So the minute I get into a space that I've gripped in the past and I choose to release that grip and no longer come from that same point of reference, the field shifts, I shift, the whole space shifts. And I may have echoes in the future to ask for me to confirm. That's all they are. Oh, I've been here before. Oh, I thought I healed and cleared this. Well, this is your moment, Andrea. Show the field. The field wants to know. Source, the system at hand wants to know. Where are we at? Because all it's saying is as you wish. Here you go. You ordered it. I'm serving it. So this is just verifying. Did you say you wanted fries with that? And they'll show up. But the thing is we lose sight of that. And so we're living awakened, but we're living in repeated older patterns of that awakened self. And what we're talking about in Acasma quantum energy is shifting into that space of ourselves where we're no longer gripping. We're confirming the new level of our space of remembrance and resetting ourselves accordingly in the field. So there's so much happening. There's so much happening on so many levels when these spaces are playing out. And this is just a teeny bit of it. It's incomprehensible what's really going on at, the whole entirety.
You said something, and I kind of want to go back to it because it was so good and it really struck me, and that is you were saying, and now I can't remember your exact words, but it was something about like when you shift, the field meets you there. And this is one of the spaces of conditioning that we are all giving ourselves the opportunity to unravel and realign. Because I think for a lot of times, and speaking for myself too, is I kept waiting for the field to shift me.
Yes. Totally relate.
And
Totally relate.
right? And so what you said is really important. I just want to highlight it. You said when you shift how you engage a space, or, if you choose to assign a meaning or not, I encourage not, but you do you. And so not you, but all of us, is that is the ultimate act of your self-agency, of your free will. And that is that you're no longer waiting for the field to shift you. You shift you and the field meets you there. And that's so, so important. And then you spoke about these echoes, and I love the use of that word. It's so important. And this goes back to rewriting the story of repetition. Mm-hmm. Because we have been taught this either or thinking. We've been taught, well, if I cleared this distortion around this, I'll never experience that again. But these echoes give us a chance to come in and fine tune it, to reaffirm it, to, create that engagement with where we want to go versus where we've been. And the only way you could recognize and register a space as back again is if you're different.
Exactly.
So for me, that was always such a really beautiful understanding that came into me because of Acasma. Is I always looked at repetitive cycles as wrong or bad, or I'm not getting it, or the modality is not working, or whatever I chose to put around it. But when I realized, oh, that's actually not the case, I can't even see it as repetitive. If I was still in that same old space, it would just be what was.
You wouldn't even have the awareness.
Yeah. I wouldn't have the perspective and the awareness. Exactly. Yeah. And so there is this beauty in recognizing, and those echoes, just like an echo, if you're in, like, say, the Grand Canyon, they get softer and softer until they just dissipate.
Yeah. That's a huge part of it. The echoes. I have to tell you this, Kirsten, because of our conversation lately. I cannot not tell you this. There are 7 turkey vultures flying over the land outside my window, and there are about 4 crows. I'm like, they are gorgeous.
I almost brought my crow picture. Because I painted a crow several years ago. I had this thought though. I'm like, oh, I'm going to grab that crow painting and show it to Andrea, and then I'm like, oh no, that's a different conversation, and then you bring it in here.
That was
We
so
are bringing
beautiful.
ourselves confirmations all the time. And this goes
Oh,
back to what we were talking about before, which is you and I can look at that confirmation and be like, oh my gosh, that is what a beautiful confirmation. And somebody else could be like, it's a crow, it's
yeah.
a turkey vulture. So,
And some people even have fear with them. They don't like either
absolutely.
one of them. They see them
And none of
as
us are
a
wrong.
like and that's where we in Acasma we talk about how the value lies in understanding your interpretation is also again a connective point of reference with the field. So if your interpretation holds fear, it's not that it's wrong, but it will back you up. It will, because I had a lot of interpretations that held fear, and they showed up just as they were asked to, and they confirmed to me why I should be afraid of them. And until I chose to allow fear to heal across the board, no judgment on any space of it, but just in general. And then by making that choice, I had to like the way that it worked for me was walk through it. I had the
Mhm.
experience would come in, and instead of allowing the meaning to be what it had been, I opened up the grip and I reset the meaning. Yes. And so then I was confirming to the field a different vibratory state of existence. And eventually, and it took about 2 years with certain spaces, I had a lot of fear with demons. And it took about, which was my whole life. So, like, considering 2 years or so, actually, that's pretty darn good. But
Yes, it
it
is.
took about that long before I stopped having sleep paralysis and I stopped having these freaky paranormal experiences while I was sleeping and weird dreams. But I had to walk through it and choose to rename it, choose to re-see it, choose to reframe it in order for the energy register to change. Because that's all it is. We slow it down to these birds and demons and belief structures and all these things that we, define in the human process of the mind. They're all energies. They're all energies. They're all vibratory wave states. And so whatever wave states we're holding on to and claiming as this is who I am, this is what I believe, this is what I'm afraid of, this is what I love, this is what I hate, that all of those spaces of energy that we're gripping plugs us right into a field experiential space. We could have similarities. We all live on Earth, we're in human bodies and we have commonalities of certain spaces of connection. But at the same time, we have very unique experiences that we call our world, right?
Yes.
And so understanding that they're all energies, even the vultures and the crows, it's an energy of whether you like to see it as I see the vultures as um, a message to remember, uh, to rise above, to know that you can have that bird's eye view. You don't have to be up underneath it. You don't have to be mixed up in it. You can just soar on the winds of uh, observation, curiosity, yes, availability, yes. Now, years and years and years ago, I used to see the vultures as a sign of death. So,
I think that a lot of people have been taught to believe that.
so I,
I mean,
I,
you fill in the blank, all the
I,
superstition.
I could totally see the difference, right? But when my life had more fear in it, that's when I had that view, right? I had that
Mhm.
belief. So it's really fascinating the power we're wielding. And I just think
Yes.
waking up to that, living awakened, waking up to that power and realizing we have it
Right.
is it's incredible.
And what's interesting, going back to say what we were talking about at the beginning, is that we can look at these teachings of Acasma, the alignments of Acasma, all the things that you talk about, that I teach, you teach, and the community engages with, as really exciting, as expanding, as this massive opening of freedom and sovereignty, and just being like, yes, this feels like home to me. And there can be another storyline, another availability for somebody or someone else that does not interpret it that way.
Right.
It doesn't make us wrong, them wrong. They're just all available.
Just different.
Nobody's wrong. It's a
Yeah.
buffet of meanings. Which one feels right to your heart
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
Knowing that that might change later, it might stay the
Mm.
same. And that is also your sovereign choice and your free will. And there's so much freedom, not only for us as people, as humans living this life, but in our relationships.
Mm.
Everybody just wants to feel safe and loved and have make sense of the world and themselves, and they're going to find all these different spaces and places for that. This
Mhm.
is what makes sense to me. This
Yeah.
is what has changed my life. This is what has changed. I have changed myself in relationship to others. I used to be extremely rigid.
Mm. Me
I
too.
had so much anxiety and fear. I was just talking about that with a friend the other day. She was like, I've never known you with that, with anxiety. I'm like, but it used to be what I lived all the time.
Yeah.
And that was fine. That was where I needed to be. That was not a wrong space to
Right.
live.
It
It
brought
was
you
an
here. It
uncomfortable,
was a part.
unsustainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It
It's
led me here.
and it's all that like the journey the human life. It's this incredibly valuable design to allow for consciousness to expand. Life is designed to zig and zag, and we are designed to do it all masterfully. So we
Mhm.
have everything we need within us. And the zigs and the zags and the ebbs and the flows are part of the way in which we remember that we have it all inside us. Yes.
Yes.
So I'm very grateful to be this now. I'm
Me too.
excited to be this now. And there's so many other things we could talk about and I want to talk about. I want to we can't do it today because I try to make these fit everybody's schedules, pretty well to get time to come in here and listen. But will you come back because I really want to go into how a cosmic quantum energy for many people, it's always, always, always for everyone self-expansion first. But for many people who find this space, there is an alignment of grid work that we do
Hmm.
here, and they feel
Yes.
very drawn to it because all of their life they've kind of had this knowing to do this type of work where we assist the frequency of the planet and the new earth. I feel like that's a very valuable topic for us to bring in as well. And you know it inside and out. You've worked with me in person doing this. You've been doing this with the grid, many, many years now, almost for the entirety that it's been available. You're one of the leaders of light for the Acasma Planet of Light and Healing Grid. You have the Sacred Joy Pod with the Acasma community. So I would love to do an entire podcast on episode on this work we're doing. Would you
I
come
would love
back?
that. Absolutely. There's something that you said though that ties into what we've been talking about before about at the very beginning, we were talking about how do we um, live awakened, surrounded by people that we don't perceive as living awakened. That's the story we put on it, the experience we have of it, maybe. And many, many years ago, I had somebody reach out to me who was an energetic grid worker, and they wanted me to travel with them and do this grid work. Well, that was a very foreign concept. I had no idea what they were talking about. I was just like, "What?" And I was just no. No.
This is, I never
No.
heard this
I know I've
story.
never
Oh
told
my
you about it.
gosh.
And they wanted me to, it was a thing. But I was not ready. I
Mm,
was not ready in many areas of my life. And it didn't matter how urgently they spoke,
yeah.
how they waxed poetic about why I
Yeah.
should do this. I was not ready. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's like our job is not to convince.
Mm-hmm.
Our job is to live in a way that expands us into the ever expanding vastness of who we came here to be.
Beautiful.
Let that be enough.
Let that be enough.
Everybody else is doing it in their way. It might
Right.
not be your way. It doesn't make it wrong.
And I loved what you said earlier about when you find resonance with a space engage. And then
Yes.
if the resonance
Yeah.
shifts and you move into another space that for whatever reason you deem fits you better at the time, allow, you know? And I love that about our community because we've even had people come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had people go and not return. And then we've had people that have gone and then they come back. And I love when people will say to me, "Oh, you never waver. You're every time I come back around, my heart leads me back here. You're right here where I left the space, and you're always still saying what you've said, like you don't change." And I'm like, "Well, this is who we are. We're
Exactly.
not going anywhere."
It's funny you bring that up. I'm teaching a class on Thursday about this exactly, about when this there is an available cycle that I see some people go through, a lot of people go through when they come into a new modality, especially Acasma. They get really excited and then there can be a space of wavering. And I
Mm.
see that as just this beautiful invitation back into your lived alignment
Yeah.
of it. And it is normal.
Yeah.
It is normal to question. It is normal to step back and reassess and
Hmm.
decide it's just like what you were talking about before with
Yeah.
echoes. It's
Yeah.
like, is this still in alignment with you?
Yeah.
Is this
It's
still
not
in
just
alignment
on
you're
negative
choosing?
things, it's on positive things as well. Like, is this still your
Absolutely.
alignment? Yeah.
Absolutely. You're always giving yourself these little breadcrumbs, these check-in points
Yeah.
of are you still liking where you are?
Just want to
Does it still
know, do you
resonate?
still want this? Because,
Yeah.
just want to know. Yeah.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
still want fries? Did you want to change it up? You want a side salad
I
today?
always
I'm
want
not sure.
fries, just to be clear.
Oh, I always want fries too. I always want fries. I love it. That's a good one. Maybe we'll put that on a t-shirt. I always want fries. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's an important factor as well. And it's so nice when we can look at it from both sides and not just say it about the spaces that are hard, but the spaces that are beautiful. They're going to ask you
Right.
if you still want them as well, you know? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just us realizing we're designing and aligning and learning how to own that designership. Yeah. More and more. So,
And allow it.
I
Hmm.
love it. Yes, yes, yes. Trust, trust, allow. All right, Holy One, thank you for being this space.
Thank
Anyone
you.
who's been this space with us and felt resonance here, Kirsten, you do this at Cosmic Quantum Energy sessions. She's a fantastic facilitator, take you into
Thank you.
glorious spaces of yourself. You can find her information directly below this video. There'll be a link how to get to her, easy peasy. She's a leader of light. You want to be in her community. It's our incredible Sacred Joy Pod. Give a shout out to the Sacred Joy Pod
I love our
members.
Sacred Joy community. They're beautiful. All in the Cosmos swirl are beautiful.
Yes, we have two pods of light. We have the
Yes.
Sacred Joy Pod and the Beacons of Love, and we love them
Yes.
all.
Yes.
So if you want to join our family of light, the Acasma community, we have it available to all. It's totally engaging Acasma quantum energy, the Acasma teachings, Acasma state of mind. It's a fantastic space to engage living awakened and feel supported doing so. So, KirstenHope.com, link below the video. She's also master teacher of Acasma Quantum Energy, runs courses several times a year. So you can check out all of her information. It is available on her site.
Thank
And
you.
she is one of my dearest friends. I'm grateful for every breath I take that she's in this world. I love you,
Mm.
Holy One.
I love you too. Thank you so much. I could talk about a Cosma all day long. Sometimes I do. And it's, uh, it's such a joy to connect with you, to connect with all the people that you connect with, to have
Mm-hmm.
these conversations that are so valuable, that
Mm-hmm.
open up all of these different limitless possibilities for you, for all.
Yeah.
And going back to that space of free will is that we all get to decide. Hard stop.
Yeah.
We
That's it.
all get to decide.
Yeah.
And what a glorious opportunity that is.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Holy Ones that have been here with us, thank you for doing so. We've had such a beautiful time hanging out with you. Leave us a comment below if you have a question, feedback, anything you want to share. If you don't already subscribe to the channel, please hit that button. And if you liked what we talked about today, felt some resonance, give her a thumbs up. Thank you for being this space, Holy Ones. We love you, we love you, we love you. Thank you, Holy One.
Thank you. That was fun. That was such a good conversation.